everyone, and welcome back. As you can see, we've just beaten Raid-Odin. That's actually quite funny. I didn't mean it. He is the Raid-Odin. Whatever. So yeah, as I said in the previous one, it is basically boss trash. This time, we have a lot of trash to get through. Like a significantly, bigly amount. Oh, those deaths. So good. So, as I said, there's a lot we gotta get through here to actually get to the next boss. Because it's not just as easy as beat the ads or fight the boss. Because if you do that, then it'll annihilate you. Because there's certain mechanics in place that make this, in quotation marks, harder. That you need to basically get rid of all this trash as normal. Then you need to find a portal in one of the rooms in the upcoming area. Everyone needs to go through that portal. It'll take you to an identical version of the area we're about to enter. And then everyone from all of the groups, all 6, all 6 groups need to go into the 6 rooms that'll be present and activate. It's not a trap. It's a switch. You'll see. It's not quite that. But basically, when someone stands on all 6 of them, then all of the rooms will lock and ads will appear. And then on the outside, a fate will spawn. Once that fate is down, then the boss loses its buff or gains a debuff. I can't remember which way it goes. And then it's actually possible to beat it. So yeah, beat all the trash. There's traps, so as usual, stay out the way of them. At the top of here, kind of a joke, is there's a treasure chest, and the trap will either be directly to the left, directly to the right, or directly in front. And it's a joke of trying to guess which one. And in this case, it is directly to the right. So this is the point that technically a frag run would end. 1. Oh wait, no it's not. I'm totally wrong. The last chest is after you go through the portal. But as time has went on, frag runs have been extended so that they spawn the fate, because originally it only gave 10 of the Hydatos crystals, but now it gives 30, so everyone's like, we want the 30! And that was to, incentivize people to actually do it. So, here's something that's interesting. In this area, this long corridor, basically these walls aren't actually there. They're there as in we can't walk through them, but AoE effects, like a size, will just go through them and pull every enemy in. What I didn't know, originally, was that Summoner's AoE stuff doesn't, because it's not wide enough. Originally on the first couple of runs I did, I was missing out on half of me major attacks because I was afraid of using the AoE. And then I asked someone, or I mentioned it, and they were like, oh no, Summoner stuff's fine. I wish I'd known that. When someone says don't use any AoE, I generally think that means don't use any. But yeah, apparently, Pain Flare, Death Flare, Flare, and all of those type of things are fine. So, if you're a summoner and you didn't know that, well there you go, I've actually said something useful for once. So yeah, basically in this, I say that basically a lot, but basically in this, You go up the corridor, you kill the roving ads, which are sprites and the I can't think what they're called. The big metal guys, the armored guys. And as you're going up, you will have the person with perception check each room. Because as you can see in there, treasure coffer. So I'm totally wrong, there's another 2 chests. I have no idea what I'm talking about. So yeah, you basically go up and you find the rooms that have a trap in them. Because the rooms with a trap means that there's a chance that it might be the room with the portal. Because it needs to be found the same way as a trap. And obviously the same for this. You find the room with the treasure coffer and kill the stuff, find the trap, get your extra frags. I can't remember. I see a lot of video ahead of me, so I can't remember if this was the run where we found all of them, and then we're like, but where's the portal? And then we had to go all the way back to the first room because we just happened to miss it. Come on, death, 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 death. Yeah! Death is like the most satisfying thing in the entire of Eureka, without a doubt. When it misses, it's like the most horrifying thing ever. But when it hits, it's so good. Especially like with the first Baldesion video I did, I managed to kill the death wall, like with a death. Death wall with death? No, demon wall with death. And it was just, so good. Right, so let's go in, get our treasure coffer. One more fragment. Oh no, it's not this run then. So yeah, as you see there, there's a portal. Everyone needs to go through the portal. It is possible to do this without 6 groups, but it's a lot harder. And this is technically where the original frag runs used to end. Because after this point, there aren't any more fragments until you beat AV. But with the addition of the extra 20 crystals, it basically has become semi-mandatory to at least activate the fate. Otherwise, it's just, again, more trash. In my opinion, this section is probably the longest and most not very exciting of all of the entire of Baldesion Arsenal, because it is just a lot of trash in a row. There's very little risk of anything bad happening as long as you pay the tiniest bit of attention. And then add on top of the fact that even after you finish all this, you generally have to wait for the people outside to finish the fate, and it's a semi-long one. But yeah, you really need a lot of time for this one. Thankfully, as you can see, I've got like 30 minutes. But in the early days of the Baldesion Arsenal, I remember getting to this point and having like less than 5 minutes left because of how slow the DPS was, because the better your elemental gear becomes, the higher your defense and damage becomes. I think once you're fully kitted out with all the armor and the weapon, you're the equivalent of elemental level 68, I think. So you're basically 8 levels higher. So logically, it's going to be quite a difference. By the time I actually finished this, I think I had everything but the pants and weapon. So if the weapon was about 2, pants probably about 2, then I might have been about 64. So it would be, so body would be 2, head and feet, I don't know, maybe 5. God knows. All I know is the weapon is one of the strongest pieces, but it takes 100 fragments to actually get, so generally it's left till last because it's just more efficient getting everything else first. And getting the Crimson Cloak and the Kirin Sword are just generally better, which you get from the cloth and seals that can drop in here. Also, you're guaranteed 1 cloth and 1 seal from beating Ozma, so technically, even if you've got really bad luck, you could do 2 full runs and get those, although at that point you don't really need them because you've cleared. Like, personally for me, my intention is just to clear because there's not really anything afterwards. I intend to get the weapon, obviously, so I'll have to do at least a few fragments after, but there's no reason to go all the way to Ozma more than once outside of the achievement. What is it, like, beat the Baldesion Arsenal 10 times, but the achievement's kind of pointless. It doesn't give you any rewards, so it's just self-satisfaction. It's not even a title. So yeah, these things, you have to have someone stand on that in every single room, and then ads will appear. Come on, go on in. Generally, yeah, people do this. You hide in the corner and the tank will spawn it. And in a frag run, at this point, you would just use return if you don't get aggro on anything. But obviously, since it's not a frag run, we will be fighting the stuff and then waiting for the fate outside to complete. So yeah, obviously this is like the, I don't know what we class it as. It's the longest part, and it's technically the worst part because there's so much that can go wrong that you have no control over. Like, the fate is great for people outside who want crystals, but if there's no one outside willing to do it, then there's literally nothing you can do. That's your run over. Because it's impossible. Well, at least currently impossible. It might be somehow, I don't know how, but it might be possible in the future to take on AV even with its buff. God knows. Anyways, so that's ready check. Is everyone ready? 17 minutes. I think you get a time boost after the fate finishes, so like, even though we're having to wait, it's not like actually impacting our time technically. And at this point we're basically just waiting on the tanks from every group to be ready. And an avatar of absolute virtue has manifested somewhere in Hydatos. So yeah, I've put that down in the corner because I recorded it separately. And basically, yeah, at this point we have to take on the ads, and outside has to take on a bunch of, well, aspects of absolute virtue. And as you can see, you beat the ads, and basically now it's just Final Fantasy XIII Hallway Simulator. You have to run all the way to the end, which will unlock and allow you access to where Odin is, or was rather. No, not Odin, Raiden. While outside everyone's fighting the weird shark absolute virtue thing. And once every group has completed their room, open the doors go, and we basically just have to head back. Or rather, head through. Also, there are more ads that spawn when we get like back to the main hallway, which is a bit odd since we teleport to a new area after beating them all. But I guess it gives people something to do while they're waiting for the fate to go down. As you can see from the preview in the corner, it's not the fastest of fates. Yep, so we're back to the AV corridor, and there's frogs and books. Where did they come from? Who knows? Maybe they could have somehow been spawned by us activating the portal thingy. The things that like freed the aspect of absolute virtue. Who knows? I'm just clutching at straws here. Also, as you can see, it really likes its meteors. And if you don't use the correct things, it can be very bad for all the people there. I mean, after the run that you can see there, I've fought it a couple more times, and it's not that bad. It's basically the same mechanics of knowing to get in and out and the timing on it. And someone dispelling. I think it was dispel. What is it? The chain lightning? No. Maybe? It's something to do with lightning. Or is it shock spikes? You get the idea. And so we kill the sprite, make our way up the corridor, and at this point it is just literally waiting. We have to wait for... What's it called? It's... I can't even pronounce that. Tristitilia. So yeah, obviously I went to full screen for this because while we wait, I may as well let you actually see a bit of the special fate and weird manta ray shark thing. The Baldesion Arsenal Expedition Support. Despite being sealed in the tower, one of Eureka's transcendent weapons has managed to forge creations of its own by transferring to each a portion of its essence. Needless to say, all must be eliminated. Tristitia? I think it might be called Tristitia. That's what I've decided it's called. Also, I die so many times in this. It really shows how terrible I am. Admittedly, using the footage from like me first time going against it, probably not the wisest, but whatever. It's what I recorded, so it's got used. But yeah, if you look at the length of this video and compare it to the length of the previous two, you can see how much extra time there has to be because just how much time is taken up with all the extra bits. If it was basically, you've beat Raiden, and then you go and face AV, it'll probably be like a 5-minute video. Maybe a little longer, but you get the idea. I mean, look at that. Up and then instantly dead to meteors, like a second later. There, shock spikes. It was called shock spikes. I was right, I think. I'm a genius. That has to be dispelled. I believe it's dispelled. I always get Dispel and Silence mixed up because I don't know which is used for which. But if you don't get rid of that, I think it basically super boosts these attacks, especially Meteor. Which, yeah, if you saw there, I figured out at that point, if I switched to defensive as I see him casting Meteor, I could actually survive it. Four. Come on. 3%. 2%. 1%. Dead. And for that, we get 30 Hydatos crystals. Ba ba ba. Yeah.
By thy principles I am freed from the chains placed upon me since time immemorial.
Alright, so let's get into actually fighting Absolute Virtue. As usual, get those limit breaks down before they vanish.
Show me, by what principles art thou driven?
So this fight isn't actually that bad, but it requires a lot of coordination and paying attention. Meteor, obviously mitigate. That's his raid wide. which he just spams the hell out of if you don't get rid of the buff on him. For this, you pay attention to what the bands on his arms are, and you get away from that colour. So that was dark, so that means that the dark are going to expand and get stronger. Basically do the opposite. Get out of that, because that is a petrify, and generally is followed by mechanics, if I recall. So he's got light, so go to dark. It's not that bad as things go, and having callouts really makes it a lot easier, because then you don't have to like be focusing on, right, what colour armbands has he got on, and where am I going, and having to think and then accidentally going the wrong way, like I nearly did for that first one. Alright, dark, so we need to go to light. There's puddles, yeah. So get close to light puddles, and far away from dark ones. Watch out for the AoE, not AoE. Cohen? Does he use that here? No, he doesn't. I could swear he did. I was wrong. It happens. This is why I'd be bad at callouts. Meteor raid wide. Turbulent ether. This is basically, if you've got a light orb, take it to a dark puddle. If you've got a dark orb, take it to a light puddle. I have messed this up a couple of times, I think. Mainly, I mess this up when I don't notice that I have it. Because, like, I mean, look at the mess of people. It isn't hard to not notice that it's you that's been tethered. More meteors. As the next one after another meteor when the wyverns get summoned. So, obviously get in the middle. Oh no, this is like, pay attention. So that's dark, so go to light. The next one is dark, so go to light. And the final one, also dark, so go to light. You just have to pay attention to the armbands. And it's not that bad. I think it's now that the wyverns get summoned. Medusa Javelin, I only just realised that name makes sense for why it's a petrify. Auroral Wind. Meteor. Call Wyvern. Say it was only like 5 minutes later. So, again, same as anything, just kill them. But also have to do the balls and puddles. If you don't kill them, I think that's basically, once again, as normal, a wipe. As is really any mechanic you just don't do. Or don't get through, I suppose. More meteors. He certainly likes meteor. I'll give him that. Hydatos. Dark, so go to light. Easy enough. Nice open space, nowhere near any darks. Get away from that, which was pretty easy, because it was a million miles away. That's light, so go to dark. That was light again, so go to dark. I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything new that comes out. It's basically just as usual, need to DPS them down. I'm fairly sure that AV does have, but I'm not entirely sure. More coal wyverns. More puddles and balls. More stone. Well, petrification. One more meteor for the road. 3, 2, no, it's on 4. I can't even read that. Now it's on 3. Get away from light. So huddle in the corner there. 2%. 1%. That's light, so you need to go into dark. And absolute virtue is down. Easy as that. Now, I've had better runs than this, but I decided to include this particular one because conditional virtue. I actually got the minion, and this, I think, was actually my very first run. It was like, damn, that's a really low chance that I actually got that. Pretty cool though. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time for the finale for Proto Ozma.